From kicked out to cashing in, I'll never forget the night my stepdad, Carl, kicked me out. It was the day after my 18th birthday. I came home from my shift at the gas station, exhausted, only to find my bag sitting by the door. Carl was leaning against the wall with that smug look he always had when he thought he was being tough. "You're a man now," he said. "Time to stop freeloading and make it on your own." I looked past him to my mom, hoping she'd say something, anything. She just wrung her hands and whispered, "I'm sorry." That was it. No discussion. No goodbye dinner. Just a duffel bag, a few $100 I had saved, and the bitter realization that I had never really been part of that house. Carl had tolerated me because he had to. Now, he didn't. I walked out into the cold night with nowhere to go. The first few months were brutal. I slept in my car, showered at the gym, and took any job I could find: fast food, janitorial work, flipping burgers, anything. Some nights, I went to bed hungry. Some days, I thought about crawling back, swallowing my pride, and begging Carl to let me stay, but every time I thought about it, I heard his voice in my head. Time to stop freeloading. I wasn't going to prove him right. Instead, I focused on learning. I spent hours at the library reading books on finance, business, and investing. I watched YouTube videos on how to start a side hustle. I started flipping old phones, buying broken ones, fixing them up, and reselling them. It wasn't glamorous, but it was profitable. Soon, I had enough to rent a tiny apartment, just a room with a mattress on the floor, but it was mine. No Carl, no judgment, no rules except the ones I made. By 21, I had saved enough to open a small electronics repair shop. I worked 16-hour days, grinding every single second to make it work. I learned marketing, customer service, and how to scale a business. By 25, I had 5 stores. By 30, I was a millionaire. Investments, real estate, business ventures, every decision I made was fueled by one thing: I will never be powerless again. Then, one day, my phone rang. It was my mom. "Hey, sweetheart," she said, her voice unusually soft. "Carl and I, well, we hit a rough patch." I leaned back in my chair, already knowing where this was going. "We lost the house," she admitted. "Carl made some bad investments, and I stopped listening after that." Because the universe, it seemed, had a wicked sense of humor. A few days later, Carl showed up at my office. He looked older, more tired, but still had that same fake confidence he always had when he wanted something. "Wow," he said, looking around my high-rise office. "You really did well for yourself." I leaned back in my chair. "Yeah. Hard work pays off." He nodded, rubbing his hands together. "Well, listen. We're in a bit of a tough spot. Your mom and I need a place to stay. We figured, since you have all these properties, maybe you could help us out." I smirked. "Oh, you figured that, huh?" Carl chuckled, still trying to play it cool. "Come on, kid. Family takes care of family." I stood up, walking around my desk. "Funny," I said. "That's exactly what I thought the night you kicked me out." His face twitched. "That was years ago. We were trying to teach you responsibility." I nodded. "And you did. Best lesson I ever learned." He cleared his throat. "So, do you have a place for us?" I pretended to think about it. "You know what? I do have a property available." Carl perked up. "Really?" I nodded. "It's called the City Shelter. You might have to wait in line, though." His face went red. "You can't be serious." I shrugged. "You taught me to make it on my own. Now it's your turn." Carl sputtered, but I was done listening. I walked to the door and held it open. "Good luck, Carl." He glared at me, but he knew there was nothing left to say. He stormed out, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly free, because revenge wasn't about getting even, it was about proving you never needed them in the first place.
Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.